Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out some games on the sim from the new update that just happened recently on the sim. At least at the time you're recording this video, they have updated to, I think it's called 1.21a. And now us over in the West have access to the cards in the East. So I think it's up to OP06 and EB01. ST13 included. We don't have OP07 on the sim yet, but they'll probably do that in like a month, because I think it comes out in about a month roughly at the time of me recording this video, or not even. I don't think it's a month away. So, alright, let's go ahead and hop into it, guys. I got about 5 games to go into. Let me go ahead and hit play, turn it up to 2x speed, and we'll just kind of glance over the direction of some of the decks I'll be taking, or the direction I'll be taking some of the decks into OP06. Especially EB01. And first up, what better than Black Yellow Linlin? I think the direction to go with Linlin. Now this is just an iceberg game. Don't take any of this to heart. You know, none of this is like, you know, this isn't like top tier decks versus each other. But just to kind of get an idea, I think, and let me pause. I'm already getting too far behind. I think the direction to take Black Yellow Linlin going forward, because we've been playing hard control in OP05. I think we're going to have to go kind of blitz, like kind of aggressive, kind of blitzy, because now we have a lot of really strong trigger cards, first of all, and second of all, a lot of very strong rushers in L. That's a 5-cost rusher. Then we have a 7-cost rusher that's a 7-cost rusher. We have a 5-cost rusher in Ace, and it kind of makes sense to be more aggressive with the current cards we have, because if we're trying to go more controlling. Really what we're doing, like, think about who's in the meta right now. Think about the decks that we're going to be going against between Gecko, Moria, Gecko, Moria, even Yellow, Green, Yamato to an extent, because they're actually building into the late game with some of the Fortress builds. And Gecko, Moria, the longer the game goes on, we're actually at a further, like, more and more of a disadvantage. So we'll see. I'm not saying a control deck couldn't work, but I think we're not as good at controlling the game as we used to be. Because of cards like Gecko, Moria, the 8-cost character, and because of all the tap-down effects that are in the game now, with 200 million volts of Maru, and, you know, Sheep's Horn from purple. There's a bunch of different ones. Bottom decking from blue. It's kind of hard to go into the late game comfortably. So the list that I'm messing with here in this video is actually a very aggressive list with a lot of tempo. Black Yellow Linlin with triggers, with lots of low-cost characters, and no Tinlin in this deck. Like, there is no 10-cost Charlotte Linlin. And it's just against an iceberg. I get it. This isn't like to show the greatest deck of all time or anything, but just to kind of give an idea of the direction I'm thinking about taking Black Yellow Linlin, going into OP06, and, of course, ST13. ST13 is where you get the ace from, the Rush Ace. Okay, and EB01 is where you get this event that I have. All right, so let's go ahead and keep going. So the card you see on the board there, the 1-cost on my side, is a Flampy. That is a 1-cost 2K counter, 1,000 power. On play, draw a card and draw the top or bottom card of your life. Very powerful. Got a Kikinojo on the board. That's a 4-cost 6K that can trigger into play if your opponent has 3 or less life. So right now I'm trying to decide, okay, I'll just swing 6 into Pauly, and we'll just start eating up his hand. That's the idea here. I'm going to either eat his hand up, or I'm going to eat up his characters. I'll take either one. Play out the Flampy here to draw a card and go down a life. I play out the Momonosuke to put a Land of Wano type character on the top or bottom of my life. So I put Kikinojo up there, because now when I take life, she's just coming back into play. Very, very powerful synergy there. Very low costed, so you're going to be able to do a lot with that. And real quick, notice, you know, we learned a lot about this with what Blue-Black Sakazuki could do. There are cards that are better at removal. Like, for example, why would I run a 2-cost Houndblaze over a 4-cost, what's it called, 3000 Worlds, or a 6-cost Red Rock? Well, because you can do more with it. Number one, Houndblaze does have the plus 3000. Let's not get too technical. I understand why that card is very powerful. But the idea is, well, Houndblaze can only take out a 2 or less, whereas 3000 Worlds can hit a 5 or less. Yes, but we can combo that with other cards and make it even stronger, and have extra options we can do that turn. Well, I'm getting the same vibe with Black Yellow Linlin. I would like to have a lower cost curve so that I can do more things at one time in one turn. Okay, so that's what's going on here. So he's going to swing 7. I'm going to take that gladly to pop down my Kikanojo. And now I'm at 9 Dawn. I've got a lot of different options. But I'm just going to go 6 into this Poly and get every single card he has. Excuse me. Okay, so now he's down to 2 cards. I'm at 2 life. I'm very comfortable. I can play out the 5 cost here. But I go with the 2/4. I was going to say I could go a 5 cost, but then I won't have a follow-up because I only had, I only had 8 Dawn left. So I didn't have a good 3 cost, so I'll just play out 2/4 cost to catch up. He plays out Kaido, smashes into my board here, goes 10 at life. I take it. It's a Sanji trigger. I trash one of my aces. And now, so that's a new card. That 6 cost card there that I played is a new card that allows me to basically KO any character on the board. Literally, 6 costs, just like Red Rock. KO, not bottom deck. KO any character, but I have to go down to 1 life. Well, good news. I was at 1 life, so I didn't have to go down at all. I swing 6 in there, and he just taps out here. Let me get the card on the screen real quick. There it is. So the card, I think it's called Rygo, or at least that's what they're calling it on the sim. This is a 6 cost KO up to one of your opponent's characters, period. Any of them. Then trash the top of your life cards so that your life total becomes 1. So if you're at 5 life, you'll go down to 1. If you're at 2 life, you'll go down to 1. If you're at 1 life, you're already at 1. You see how strong that is. And the trigger's also like Gadatsu. KO, or excuse me, I think the trigger's like Yamato. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to or less than you and your opponent's total life cards. So if you get this off an early trigger, you can pop pretty much anything on the board. And if you get it late in the game, you can just get it a hand, KO a character, and still have 4 Dawn left. That's a magic number in Black Yellow Linlin, right? That's a magic number because now we can attack in and gain a life in the process. So it does have a lot of synergy with Black Yellow Linlin. Very cool stuff there. Okay, the next game we're going to look at, we're not staying with Black Yellow Linlin. We're going over to Black Yellow Luffy. And I've got 5 different leaders for today's video. First was Black Yellow Linlin. This one's going to be Black Yellow Luffy. And again, it's just random games on the sim. Just trying out the new cards. I just wanted to play with the new cards. So, Blurple Hannibal. He can return a 2 cost or higher Impel Down card to ramp a Dawn at the end of the turn. Okay. I play out, what's his name? I play out Garp here. Get some cards. Play out Flampy. I absolutely love the Flampy card in black-yellow decks that can gain life. Or I guess any yellow deck that can gain life. I'm absolutely in love with the Charlotte Flampy card. Because it's allowing me to draw cards like crazy. And also, let me put on 2x speed. Sorry, guys. There we go. It's allowing me to draw cards. It's allowing me to lower my life down so I can get in range of other stuff. Like Black Yellow Luffy, for example. You have to be at 0 life to activate his leader's effect. With Linlin, Black Yellow Linlin, you have to be at 1 or less life. So it allows you to do a lot of things and draws you tons of cards in the process, and it's a 2K counter. Okay, so pause real quick. Sorry guys, I've been ranting. So one of the big combos to do with Hannibal, Impel Down, right? Jailer Beasts or Impel Down. They're Impel Down and Jailer Beasts. So you play out Sadie, which is a 3-cost 2K counter that allows you to cheat out a 4-cost from your hand. Then, with Hannibal, you're pulling the card back to your hand, you got your 2K counter back, and you're ramping a Dawn. So it's kind of like the perfect combo, the perfect match there. Okay, let's keep going. Excuse me. So I've got a full board, but they're not very good characters. I've just been trying to draw cards and fix my hand with like the searchers and draw cards. So I mean, okay, it's time to start attacking life here. Swing 5 at life, swing 5 at life. He's going to have to start giving me cards because remember, I'm running a yellow deck where I can keep gaining life. He's running a blue-purple deck that cannot gain life, at least currently at the time we're recording this video. He's going to give me 2 cards from hand. I've got down a 5K. I've got down a 7K. I've got 6 cards in hand and 2 life. I'm running Black Yellow Luffy, so I can gladly gain life, and I've got a Gecko in hand. Okay, so he swings 7 at one of my guys. They're 8. I'm not going to let him have the 7-cost card for 8, or the 7K card for 8K. And now it's my turn again. I've still got my 7K. I've got a 5K swing and a 7K swing. So I tried to eat up his board a little bit here, because if I can slow him down and we can make it to the late game, well, that's where Black Yellow Luffy is just insane, right? That's where the 8-cost Gecko Moria just starts popping off like crazy. So I play out Sabo, again, trying to fix my hand a little more. And yeah, we're at the point now where and that's a Carmel, by the way, I'm messing with. That's a 2-cost, 1,000 power, 1,000 counter that just on play draws a card. And it has trigger. Now, the draw a card is your turn only, because it has a trigger that allows you to play the card to KO a 2 or less. Okay, so he swings for 6 at me. I'm like, sure, I'll take that. You know, I'm trying to get down to 0 so I can start gaining life and getting cards. Bottom deck's my ace, which is less than ideal. You know, you don't want the bottom deck stuff with this kind of deck, because your best chance, or the way the deck works is you're grabbing cards from your trash to put back into your life, and then you're using the cards from your hand, well, the 2-cost cards, to put them back into play and make your leader stronger. So I'm just going to swing 5 here. I'm in a very good position, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a Sabo pretty much no matter what here, to ensure that I'll be safe next turn. So I'm like, okay, well, let me swing 5 first, see what he does here. I could have probably gone for game, but I wasn't sure if he was baiting me or not. and I'd rather, excuse me, I would rather play the safer route here, because I'm in full control of this game. I have 2 blockers, I have 1 life, I have 4K in hand. Okay, and then you win. All right. So that was that. And the idea was, let me hit play. Boom. Okay, so the idea was next turn, like I was going to let him attack me 1 time to gain a life, or excuse me, to lose a life. Then I was going to block out or counter out of whatever he did next. And what I was going to do with these cards in the trash, in order to use Gecko Moria, you trash a card from hand, and then you're going to put 2 5-cost characters in your life face up. Then you're going to use these 2-cost cards to throw them into play, make your leader stronger. That's where it just goes kind of into, like, not an infinite loop, but into a very, very powerful loop. And then the next turn follow-up is I Gecko Moria to get those cards out of my trash again, and then we restart, you know, we go back to it. So really, really powerful stuff there. Okay, now let's go to the next game. This is a red-purple Law versus green Uda. And again, all these cards are from OP06, EB01, and ST13. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into this one. This was an interesting game. I don't play a lot of red-purple Law, and it probably shows in this one. I want to play more of it, but like I said, when I first started playing, it just didn't feel complete. But by EB01, the deck feels very powerful. And I did not get any Reijus this game, by the way, so don't think that I'm not running them. I just didn't get them. Okay, so he starts off with a Nami. I want that off the board. I do not want... So, for those who don't know, Green Uda can draw like crazy. Like, absolute crazy. So, here I just go offensive. I think I go aggressive. Yeah, I do. And then play out this Raise Max, which is just the new version of Gordon. So, now I have 2 Gordons in the deck. Basically, a 1-cost at -3s when you bottom deck it from main. I thought about saving this for a while, but I don't. I end up not saving it. So what I was going to say, though, with Green Uda, this deck draws cards like crazy. So this 4-cost Law, very, very useful right here. I need to get rid of the Nami still. So I'm gonna play out my 5-cost Queen, draw 2, trash 1. Then I'm going to use my leader effect to bottom deck the Nami and play out my Law, which is going to make him trash 2 cards. Now I'm going to swing 5 into the... I'm going to swing all of my cards into that Brook, or the rest into life. Okay, so I'm off to a good position here. And the only reason this was even possible is because I got Shashi and Penguin, the card he's attacking right now. It's a 4-cost 5K with a 2K counter that says if you have 3 or less Dawn cards on play, you gain 2 Dawn cards. And that's what's allowed me to get to this point. Because notice how low my Dawn count is right now. It is not in an ideal position. I'm not in a great position, but I have to fight for the board here. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, my allergies. So again, I'm going to swing every single card into, I'm going to swing all my cards out here, see what he gives me. I'm like, okay, he didn't block with the, he did not block with the Luffy. So now it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to try to punish you. And I have to do some math in my head here because I want to play Gordon to get the Nami off the board. But at the same time, I might not be able to do that. It depends what he gives me here. Swing 7 here, swing 7 into him. He's able to block it. Well, now for a really good card, Kid and Killer, I play that out. I have no Dawn, but I just swung 7 into his guy. I cleared his board up, and I'm in a good position here, honestly. He has no cards in hand. He's starting to draw cards from his leader's effect, but I'm in a very good position here. He needs to try to take out one of my characters, or else I'm just going to run him over. Well, he got greedy swinging one of those cards into life. Well, Excuse me. Bad news for him here. He should have tried to eat up more of my board, because now I saved my Gordon, and I'm going to go 8 into Eustace Kid here. Now I'm going to minus 3,000 and swing 5 into him 4 times. He's not saving that card. I could have potentially tried to go for game here, but it's like, why would I do that? I don't want to give him any more cards. I'm going to sit behind my 2 blockers here, and that's game, right? He has no way of getting out of it now. And I'll be at 4 Dawn next turn. So, and I just drew another Kid and Killer. So now it's like, okay, I'm going to swing 5, 5, 7, 7, 5, 6 in whatever order I want to. So I just throw these out. I'm like, here you go, bud. Good luck. You know, and that's just, that new card there, Kid and Killer, is just insane. It's like, it's a 4 cost 5k. Let me pause. It's a 4 cost 5,000 power rusher, just period, with no counter power. And it has win attacking. I think it's if you, no, it might be if your opponent has 2 or less life, he gets plus 2,000 power for the turn. So just really incredible. Can't wait to mess with Red Purple Law. This deck just looks like so much fun. Okay, we got 2 more left. We got Red Yellow Sabo. I cannot wait to play this deck right here. Let me turn to 2x speed real quick for us. Against Black Yellow Luffy. I think that this deck, Red Yellow Sabo, it might become my new main once we get into the OP06, ST13, EB01 range, and especially going into OP07, because it gets even more tools at its disposal. Excuse me. So here I'm just keeping pressure up. I established a Kikanojo. So Kikanojo, the card I just played, the 4 cost 6k, that you can play it if your opponent's at 3 or less life. Trigger, you can play the card without trashing anything. It is like the perfect synergy card with Sabo, with Red Yellow Sabo, because you attach 1 Dawn to it, swing for 7, which is a magic number, right? Then you attach 1 Dawn to your leader, swing if you want to or whatever, and just put the Kikanojo back on top of your life. So that way when they attack into you, you get the card right into play. It is just, as long as they're at 3 or less life. And the combo is just incredible. Okay, so I swing 6 there. And now I'm still kind of figuring out how to play the deck, because again, we're just now getting this deck over in the West. I'm still trying to figure out, like, okay, what do I do here? I've got 5 Dawn. I could swing with Luffy, but I don't want to lose my Luffy. So I'm like, okay, let me do this the correct way, where I can play out Shariah. Okay, pause. Let me show you what I did there. The reason I put out Shariah first, so I swung for 7 with Kikanojo. I play out the Shariah, then use my leader effect. Because the leader effect, it doesn't just put a 3 cost or higher with a 7,000 power or more on the top of your life. It also gives a character on your board plus 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. So now my Shariah will be basically blocking for, you know, whatever his leader is, plus 2,000. So it is a very strong synergy you have to learn. There are a lot of intricacies to the Red Yellow Sabo deck, and that's another reason why I like it so much. Okay, now I'm going to smash in for 6. Let's see what he gives me. Excuse me. He's down to 1 life. He has a lot of cards in hand, so I'm starting to get concerned. Like, okay, I know I have 4 life, but... Okay, and then I see this, and I'm like, okay, this might be a newer player. He's trying to learn his deck just like me. Okay, he just played out Curly Dadan, a 5 cost 4k with a 1k counter. This is not a good card to play. This is when I knew I was probably just fine, because this is a blocker. It's a 5 cost 4k blocker with 1k counter. On play, play up to 1 of each of cost 2, Sabo, Ace, and Luffy from your hand. That's how he was able to play out those 3 cards. And it turns out he put a Sabo into life from his last Hiyori that he played there. The guy's clearly trying to learn how to play the deck. Because you have to have 2 Dawn on your leader just to even activate the effect to gain 2 life. So he tried to do a little too much at the end there, unfortunately. And then he just quits out. Excuse me. This is obviously a bad representation of Black Yellow Luffy, but hopefully you at least got to see a little bit of what Red Yellow Sabo is going to be able to do. And I'll probably be playing a lot more of this in the future and recording it on here. Okay, last but not least, we got Blue Black Rebecca. I told y'all I have not given up on this deck, and I never will. I think, let me put it on 2x speed. 2x, there we go. I've always enjoyed the way this leader is from the beginning. I hate that it cannot attack. I wish they would print a card that would allow it to attack, like on play, like allow this card to attack for this turn, or something like that. But, unfortunately, they just don't. Okay, now playing against Red Purple Uda. So this Red Purple Uda has when attacking, you can trash a film card from your hand to give minus 2,000 to one of your opponent's characters for the rest of the turn, and ramp a Dawn. That's why there's a card that's trash right now. Okay, so right now I'm just trying to build up my hand to get what I want. I don't really have a great follow-up here, so I play out a 3-cost blocker in Bartolomeo. You want to stay around 5 to 6 cards in your hand with Rebecca, so that way you can use your leader's effect. So sometimes it's better just to play a card out of your hand, or to over-counter, just so you can continue to draw cards with your leader's effect and generate value that way. Okay, he plays out the new Douglas Bullet. That's a 6-cost 7K with a 1K counter. And if you have film if your leader has film as one of its types, then he's also a blocker. So there's the new Scarlet card. I had to read to make sure I was doing it correctly. You have to do things in the correct order on the sim or it won't work properly. And in this case, you have to play out your character, then give minus 2 cost to one of your opponent's characters. Then your Kairos on play can activate once you've fully resolved your Scarlet, and then you can go from there. So that's going to allow me to clear up this Shariah with a Kairos. So minus 2 from the Scarlet. Kairos comes in, KOs it, KOs a 1 or less, and then we go from there. I did not want to play my Kairos here because I want to combo that later with my Orlumbus, or at least just like cheat it out with my Rebecca or something like that. Okay, so he swings for 7,000 here. I'm just going to use my blocker because I don't want to lose life with Rebecca. I have no way to gain life, and I'm playing more control obviously because you can't attack with your leader, so you have to play very controlling. And it's good to use cards up from your hand, like I was saying earlier, so that you can continue. Sorry guys. So that you can continue to draw cards with your leader's effect and generate as much value as possible. Okay, so I'm like, all right, this Eustace kid has to go. My opponent's down to... I can't even attack with my Kairos, by the way, because I need all 8 Dawn this turn to use my Kairos and my Trino Bastardo. But my opponent is down to 4 cards in hand. So I'm feeling very good about this. Like, okay, that's good. Yeah, keep playing out cards, and I'll just remove them one by one. This is a good sign. Now he's going to use one of his new events here. Excuse me. I believe this is from, what is that, from OP06. Yeah, and it can KO a 5,000 power character. Very nice. Just checking my trash there. And then they're going to swing at me for 9. And I am going to take this. Obviously, I can't even block out of it in hand. And I think this person, whoever I'm playing against, I don't know who they are, obviously. Like, it would have probably been better if they would start swinging with that Douglas Bullet to put me on a bigger clock. Now, yes, I would attack into it and end up KOing it eventually, but you'll see, like, they don't really generate much value with this card. Okay, so I play out a Sabo, play out a Rebecca. I should have did it in the opposite order, you know, play out Rebecca first, then Sabo. But there is a reason to play out Rebecca second after Sabo in case you get a card into your trash you want to draw. I don't know. The right choice would have been to play Rebecca, then Sabo. Okay, he plays out a Newgate, an Edward Newgate. Goes plus 2,000 for his leader. And now he's going to swing 8 at face. I use my Rebecca blocker, sure. Now, I almost have enough in hand here to KO this Newgate. -3, -4, but he's still at 2. So I'm like, okay, let me use my leader effect to see what I can get. And I get a Scarlet. There's actually quite a few options I could have got. I could have got another one-legged toy soldier, Scarlet, obviously. Could have got another Orlumbus, which that would have been interesting, but I'd had to play it a little bit differently. It changes a lot. So I end up KOing my Kairos, letting him live by tapping down the stage, play out the Scarlet, drop down the cost of the Newgate, KO it with my Kairos, and now my board is absolutely stacked. There's really no way to KO these Kairoses easily. So I'm like, okay, let's see what my opponent has now. And it might seem like, oh, well, you're down to 3 cards. It's like, yeah, but I'm going to draw 2 cards a turn at this point because of my leader's effect. Okay. So he's going to swing for 5. I end up just taking this. And then he drops down the 10-cost Rush Luffy, which is a very good card. But I have a lot of stuff that cannot be KO'd, so it's not as good as it could be against me. Alright, so now I'm like, okay, it's time to start attacking into the leader here. Time to start smashing in. I swing 5, 5, 5. And now it's like, okay, let me see what I can get with my leader. I actually consider dropping down Kuzan here, like, you know, and KOing the 7-cost guy. But it's like, okay, I do the leader effect instead, get my my Luffy. He lets his card go, and so I stand up my Luffy. And I'm like, okay. Looking back, I should have 100% put 2 on the Luffy and swung 9 into the Douglas Bullet to ensure that it could not survive. But, you know, that's all right. That's why we do this. That's why we practice, right? To get better and to learn from our mistakes. This deck was running some interesting cards here. This is the 8-cost 8K Uda. It has Dawn on play. I think you return 1 or 2 Dawn, and then all of your characters get plus 1,000 until the start of your next turn. So he's going to swing 7. I'm going to block out of that one. I don't want to go too low. And now it's like, okay, excuse me, we do need to start putting on the gas here, right? You know, pedal to the metal. I probably could have won this turn if I did everything properly, like if I had done exact proper allocations of Dawn. But I'm in such a commanding position here. I'm like, okay, let me just do it like this, put down a blocker at the end of it, and just call it a game next turn. Because I have 3 life left. Let's just do it. And they did have a Rad Beam, by the way. So they did have a Rad Beam. I just threw a bunch of cards back to stand up Luffy. Do not ever do that. That is not the correct way to play the game. Do not do that. Actually pick the cards that should go to the bottom of your deck. But in this position, the game is over. Red-purple has no way of dealing with my Luffy. At least not that I'm aware of. Excuse me. So it's like, okay, next turn, I have a King Kong gun in hand. So I'm going to win next turn. There's no way for him to stop me. If I wanted to, I could just go, what, 6 plus 7 is 13, and then I'd have 7 left. I could go 20k twice into my opponent, and he has 2 cards in hand. There's just simply no way to get out of this. Even with a blocker, I have all these other cards to attack with as well. There's no way out of it. So I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. You've got 3 Dawn active. Are you hoping? Do you have 2 Radical? You know, he has a Shiraya, which is better than nothing. So I go, okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll just swing 5 at you 3 times, and then I'll swing... Oh, and then he, so, hang on, pause. I was going to swing 5 at him 3 times, get all the cards out of his hand, and then just go Luffy, swing 13, game over. So, yeah. Really cool stuff here, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Which deck did you like to see the most of? Which deck would you like to see more of going into OP06? Now, we won't have access to the ST13 stuff and the EB01 stuff over here in the West for a long time. Probably like 4 months, somewhere between 3 and 5 months. I don't know the exact number, but we are about to get the OP06 stuff. When that drops, I am going to be playing some Gecko Moria. I'll be playing some more Sakazuki a little bit. I can't really get into Rebecca until EB01 when it gets Scarlet. That is an absolute... I think that is an absolutely necessary card going forward for Rebecca. I think it's a very, very good card. It's a card that they needed in the early game, in my opinion, that Dressrosa Blue-Black needed. Excuse me. So, yeah. So, again, we went over Black, Yellow, Linlin. Let me put on my glasses. We went over Black, Yellow, Linlin, Black, Yellow, Luffy, Red, Purple, Law, Red, Yellow, Sabo, and Blue, Black, Rebecca in this video. So, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Which list would you like to see a little more of? Because I can do these commentary videos, you know, a few times a week if needed. Because it is very easy content for me to create. I just hop on the sim, play a few games, and then I'm done. So, it's like... If there's a specific deck y'all would like to see more of, you know, just tell me down in the comment section below. Tell me what deck y'all are looking forward to the most, like especially out of the 5 that I went over, or if there's a deck that I didn't go over. If you're like, yeah, where's Red Blue Nefeltari VV or something, right? Something funny. By all means, put that in there. But yeah, that's about it for today's video, guys. If you got any questions or comments, or if I missed something, if I had a play mistake, please don't hesitate to tell me in the comment section below. And please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, guys, peace.